have Virgo rising, the conjunction between Mars and Mercury will be happening in your third house in Scorpio. And this emphasizes communication surrounding your siblings, issues you might be having with your siblings, as well as your neighborhood, and honestly, just like communication in general. So, because this is a pretty powerful aspect and it's likely to like encourage you to be brave in conversations, the bravery piece is okay. You just want to be mindful of like bulldozing people. So you might feel motivated to just get your way in communication no matter what. And so just kind of, be thinking that it's definitely okay, even though you're feeling this intensity, it's okay to stop and think before you act or think before you say anything. It doesn't mean don't say anything at all. It just means be clear about how you're presenting whatever it is you're presenting and then present it versus act first, think later. On October 21st, the new moon will be happening in your second house, and it is co-present with Venus. So this is likely to be a really positive time for you as far as any new beginnings. You're likely to feel emotionally supported. This can also be about new beginnings having to do with finance that are beneficial for you. On October 22nd, the sun will be moving into Scorpio in your third house, and Neptune is retrograding back into Pisces in your seventh house. So the sun in Scorpio is just encouraging you to let things go. You might feel like decluttering your space. You might feel like, there's some relationships like, friendships or whatever in your life that you're sort of walking away from. This can also be about letting go of things having to do with siblings or things having to do with your neighborhood. And it doesn't have to be a bad thing. It's not like it's necessarily things ending. It's just letting go so that the new beginnings can actually, take root and start to happen. And Neptune moving back into Pisces in your seventh house can bring up issues of idealism in relationships. So if you've been holding yourself back in relationships because of like an ideal that you have that you feel like you're not meeting, or you feel like you're not good enough for the person that you're in a partnership with, or they feel this way towards you, this is just a good time to remember that like our ideals are the things that we work towards. They're not the things that we insist from ourselves on a day-to-day basis or that we project onto someone else. So obviously, if you're in a relationship that's completely wrong for you, then this doesn't apply. But if generally you and your partner get along well, and then all of a sudden, you're feeling like, well, you're not perfect. No relationship is perfect. And if you're feeling upset about that, like blaming yourself, like you're not a perfect partner and that's what's making your partner imperfect, like nobody's perfect. Sit with it for a while and just kind of sort out what's really going on there so that, you can move forward with a plan that maybe is about creating a relationship that's more satisfying for both of you, but remembering the whole time that there is no perfection there. On October 24th, the sun in Scorpio in your third house is squaring Pluto in Aquarius in your sixth house. So this is likely to bring up some conflicts having to do with your daily routine, your health or your self-care, your work environment, and your siblings, your neighborhood, or your communication. So this might bring up something that you need to communicate that might be kind of hard for you, or this may be about like something that's just sort of intense that's like lingering in your space right now that might be having an effect on your physical health or your physical well-being. And this can also just be like a conflict between like your time and how you're dividing it between like being in your neighborhood or being with neighbors or being with siblings and the chores that you have to do or your work environment in some way. There's some type of conflict there. There could be like a conversation that you need to have with someone in your work environment that is brought up right now, or that you're thinking about that you need to start considering how you're going to bring certain things up. So whatever it is, just be mindful that any transit involving Pluto is going to feel intense, so it's a good idea to just sit with it for a bit and figure things out before you move forward with any kind of plan or before you actually have a conversation with someone. On October 24th through October 26th, Mercury will be forming a trine aspect between Jupiter and Saturn. So this is basically just an easy aspect between your third house, your seventh house, and your ninth house. So this can have to do with spiritual beliefs, your political beliefs, or your worldview, and conversations that you're having with like your partner, or conversations that you might be having with siblings or with neighbors. But there's like an easy flow. So you might be opening up to new ideas in these areas, or expanding your horizons in some way by like spending time with people that you don't normally spend time with. But this is just a good time to like stay open minded, and to allow yourself to like see the world through someone else's eyes, or to see other worldviews besides your own. From October 27th through the 28th, Mars will be forming a trine between Jupiter and Saturn. So, again, this is still between your third house, your seventh house, and your ninth house. So, this could have you feeling really brave around communicating your ideas having to do with your worldview, or changes that you've made to your worldview. This could also involve like your partner's views, as well as like communication that you're having with your partner. It's just important to remember that this, being that it's Mars, it can quickly go from brave and assertive to escalated and aggressive. And so we just want to keep that in mind. It's great to feel brave, and it's definitely important to assert yourself when necessary, but we also want to be listening, and we just want to be like mindful of our tone and make sure that we're not bulldozing, because this could be a time when we're feeling exceptionally confident in these areas, and we just don't want to have that confidence lead to like taking the wind out of someone else's sails. On October 28th and 29th, Mercury will be moving into Sagittarius in your fourth house, and Uranus will be in Gemini in your 10th house. So, what this can look like is some type of conflict having to do with your home, your parents, or your family, and your work environment, your public reputation, your career goals, or just basically the person that you are out in the world. So you may feel like a sudden urge to communicate with the people in your family or in your home about something that's been going on in your career space, or having to do with how you present yourself to others. There may be some type of like growth that's occurred for you, or some type of just changes in your public life that are affecting the people in your home, that are affecting your family, or are affecting your parents in some way. So it's just, again, something to be aware of and thoughtful of. There's an opportunity to like think before you speak, versus like springing anything on anyone, but there isn't any way to control like whether something is sprung on you. And so you just want to remember like patience during this time, and like sit with it before you speak, just to make sure that you're understood correctly in the way that you actually mean something, versus being misunderstood and that being something that's causing more issues than necessary.